Welcome back to Andersen Acres. We're in the kitchen again, and tonight we are going to make Southern Style Biscuits. I adore these biscuits because they're nice, fluffy on the inside, a little bit crisp on the outside, and they have a delicate hint of Cajun seasoning, or a bold hint, depending on how much Cajun seasoning you decide to put in them. So let's get started. You're going to need a 1/4 cup of either butter, margarine, or shortening. Shortening is preferred in this recipe, but you can use any of the three. Which one you use will alter the flavor a little bit, but since the defining flavor is the Cajun seasoning, we're not going to worry about it too much. So take your 1/4 cup of shortening and just kind of smash it down. To that, we're going to add 2 cups of flour, just regular bread flour or all-purpose flour, or whatever you normally use when you're baking. Probably go with all-purpose, but you can use a different flour if you like. Give that kind of a little smush with your fork. Remember, we're not mixing, we're just kind of smushing. We're cutting in the fat. There we go. To that, we're going to add 3 teaspoons of baking powder, not soda, baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Any salt you please. That was Himalayan, but you can use sea salt or table salt, doesn't matter. And I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of Cajun seasoning. I like mine pretty bold, but you can reduce that if you like down to 1 teaspoon if you don't like quite as much of a kick. We like a kick. So a tablespoon of Cajun seasoning. Give that a little bit of a smush. Now we're going to add 1 cup of milk. Cold milk works best. Okay, nice cold milk so we don't melt the butter or shortening or whatever you're using that is in here. Give that a mix. Okay. While you're mixing, you're going to preheat your oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, that's what mine is going to hit in a couple minutes here, 1.5 minutes, I guess. Preheat it. Scrape off your fork. Don't need your fork anymore. So what you want to do is get in here with your hands. Your dough will be a little bit sticky, not bad. Okay. Just kind of take your dough. See, it is a stickier dough. It's not a drop biscuit, but it's a stickier dough. Okay, so what we're going to do is just get all of this off the sides and off our hands. How about that? So you're just going to kind of take it and roll it just to pick up that flour. What you really want is to pick up that flour. So just keep rolling it along the edge of the bowl to pick up that flour. That's what you want. Okay? You want to pick that up. Now, this is going to be slightly difficult to work with. That's okay. Okay, so it's a little bit, don't worry about it. Okay? We're going to do, now you can either pat this down to about 1/2 inch. It's really going to stick. So you can pat that if you like, or you can form them by hand. So I like to take a little bit off. Your dough is going to be, there goes my thing. My oven's preheated. So I like to take a little bit of dough off, and then I just kind of like to make a little circle, okay? A little circle about like that, and then I stick it on my baking sheet. I don't worry about it too much. Okay, we don't want to worry too much about our shape or our size. Okay, so we're just going to keep doing that. Kind of make a little circle. You can do the rolling and you can do it. You can add a little flour so it doesn't stick, but I find they turn out better if you just kind of roll with it. Get this off our fingers. And yes, your fingers are going to get very gooey. That's okay. We're not going to worry about that. So I do find they work better if you just kind of semi-form a biscuit with your fingers. So you're going to continue to do that. We will come back as soon as I have done them all. Okay, there's no point in you watching me do them all. I'll show you the product before it goes into the oven. So we'll be right back. So there we go. They are all formed. I did do that by hand. Washed my hands because your hands do get gooey. Again, you can add a little bit of flour and do rolling and cut them apart with a biscuit cutter. I do find this particular biscuit works best if you free-form them by hand. So we're going to stick them in the oven for 10 to 12 minutes, maybe 14 minutes at the outside if you like them a little bit darker. but 10 to 12 minutes at 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Then we'll come back and see the finished biscuit. And just like that, we have these delicious Southern style biscuits, hot out of the oven. Look at how tasty that looks. Now these are absolutely delicious, and they're a lot of fun with any meal, and they're really fast to make. So if you ever forget to make buns, well, you can just whip up some Southern style biscuits. I hope you enjoyed making these with us tonight, and I do hope you'll try them at home. They're tasty and one of my favorites. We'll see you tomorrow.